Alright, good morning everyone. Finally, the weekend. We're not across the finish line just yet. Had to turn on lamps. Didn't do this thing last night like I'd originally planned because stretched out on the couch to relax and ended up falling asleep, so yep, that happened. So for those brand new to the channel, this is how it goes. Sorry. Let me explain how this goes. Number one, I start battling sinuses, then the postnasal drip, then it just goes into my throat and it won't leave me alone. So that's how it winds up. A lot. So you're gonna hear me clearing my throat a lot. Fun. Anyway, what I was actually saying was, this is what a private reading is going to look like. I usually save these for the last reading of the week because number one, they're big, and number two, I tell you about the whole weekend rather than just one day. But we're going to start with today. And that's because how are you going to navigate the entire weekend without knowing how you're going to kick it off, right? So we're not across the finish line just yet. We will be, though. Hope your weekend plans go well. Oh, yeah. Shoot, I almost forgot about that. Okay, so some of you are seeing these card backs, and they're pretty familiar. I've got Viking Oracle, I've got Spirit Animal Oracle, we've got Runes of the Gods, we've got Rider-Waite Tarot. All of those you already know. But you're about to see these, and you're probably not going to know what the hell they are. The thing is, I've developed sort of a new policy. Until I've actually used the deck, I don't like put it out here. So Oracle of the Hidden Worlds is going to be brand new to this channel, and starting today it will begin to enter the rotation, though I don't know if I really have a rotation. It's more of just whatever calls to me on any given day. Hey bub, what you doing? You just gonna slam your head into my fingers? Is that gonna happen? Yeah. The cameras are on and you're making it all about you, aren't you? Aren't ya? Yeah. Alright. Also, one other thing I continue to ask you, keep the prayers, good vibes, energy going for Witcharoo, who created the Runes of the Gods Oracle, because I know she's going through her situation right now, and you're just going to lay on my foot. You're going to do that? Okay. So, yeah, she's still going through that situation. I'm catching little bits of it on Twitter, so hopefully things are going to go a lot better sooner rather than later. So, starting with you. Here we go with the compromise again. That's not really all Scothy's about. You do know that Scothy actually had wolves. She would ski through her realm in the mountains. And she did all kinds of stuff. But here's the key part. You have to know yourself. You have to express your independence. You have to let authenticity be your guide. This isn't really about compromise, I don't think, because I'm not seeing it with this card. I'm definitely seeing knowing yourself, knowing what you're worth, going out and getting it, expressing your independence, speaking very plainly. Also, there are easier ways to do things. And you're also, of course, being guided by Loki. And all this means is just taking the time to take a playful approach this weekend. Doesn't have to be so serious. Doesn't have to be too heavy. You know, simple stuff. Also, koala spirit. So spirit definitely has a plan. Now what's really odd so far is we've come out with 2 giants and a koala. Only one place that koalas exist in the world, as far as I know, and that's Australia. If you know of any other places, comments down below. But yeah, you gotta know that your spirit has a plan. There we go. Okay, so, you know, the thing about koalas, they tend to move pretty slowly through the branches. And they just leisurely chew on the leaves. So, it's not a race or a competition this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Don't chase after every distraction, because guess what? That's exactly what it's doing. It's distracting you from what you actually need. Take that little playful approach, you know. You could find a distraction or 2 and just engage with those. You don't have to have them all. Some of us try to cram everything into one weekend. Well, you know, maybe there is a little compromise here. Save something for next weekend. Okay, so mentally we're looking at a 2 of Wands, Emperor in reverse, 10 of Swords in reverse. Mentally, it looks like you're in a good place, but you got a lot of choices presented in front of you. So the question is, what do you want to do this weekend? And you got a whole world of possibilities, but you're going to have to make a choice here. And I'm looking at something creative. Definitely in the Wands, you're looking at fire signs all over the place here. Especially with this Emperor card, you got a couple Aries signs right there on the arms of his throne. But this looks like a little bit of a lack of authority. So I say just get what you need to, whatever it is you need to get it done today. You know, kind of enjoy that weekend. Take some time away from things, because guess what? This is where healing can kind of begin. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of thought, a lot of negative thought at that. Good time to let that go. Physically, definitely not a bad spread in the physical, because you got 3 of Cups, something to celebrate there. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you, if you're going to drink, do it responsibly. You know, have designated drivers, do it at home, don't overdo it. You're going to wake up feeling like hell the next day if you do. Moving on to this Knight of Cups, take it a little slower this weekend, because that'll help your emotional stability right off the bat. And it's okay to be a little generous with your time. Perfectly fine. Spiritually speaking, what do you need here? We got Death in reverse. Got a Hangman in reverse. And we've got an 8 of Pentacles. I don't think you're really starting off with anything really new, right? That's not the way it's looking. Plus that Hangman in reverse is looking a little like you're not really at peace with yourself, or not really at peace with something. What is it that you're messing around with here? Because that's a big question. It's probably a good time for to catch up on some sleep if you've been missing any. And with that Hangman there, Oh, yeah, there we go. Don't get too lost in the crowd on this one. Normally with the card upright, you're kind of confident, you're kind of at peace with yourself. But in this one, it looks like there's a battle going on. Just don't let a crowd waste your time. Don't get too much into groupthink, because that's going to mess you up. So far, we got a couple little warnings here. Nothing terrible, but all your hard work, all that effort that you put in, that's what's going to count. So if you're actually putting in some work this weekend on something, especially in matters of the spirit, that's where it's really going to matter. I would suggest getting away. Again, I'm definitely seeing that. Getting away this weekend, kind of taking a moment to yourself, is actually a wonderful thing to do. So, let's see what your oracle cards look like. Well, we didn't get a hermit card, but we did get meditation. I mean, you know, it's just reinforcing what I'm saying here. Getting that peace, getting that relief, going somewhere where you feel like it's sanctuary, right? You need that mentally. That's important to this one. So right here, the hidden worlds, you do have hidden worlds. They're definitely deep within the mind. You know, taking a moment to just pull a book off the shelf, any old random book will do, and reading it, that'll take you into another world right there. Doesn't matter what that book is. Hopefully it's something a little fictional, that way kind of get away from things for a little while. A little bit of escapism never hurt anyone. And finally, Aurora Garden. So, here's something really strange. Kind of getting away to get that moment of peace to yourself. Going into that inner world, and then it says beginning, but that death card's in reverse. That's what's a little confusing to me, because the haziest part is right there in the spiritual, but it's telling you about another beginning. So what are you beginning, spiritually speaking, here? Well, we know we're in sort of a, are we in a new moon, or are we past that point? Let me pull that up real quick. I really do need to pay a little bit more attention to that. Moon phase. Okay, so we're just kind of kicking it off. But we are in a moon in Gemini right now. Now's a good time to start your manifestations if you haven't already. Initiating those, getting those kicked off, getting those origins ready. And then we have your runes, which are Tivas, Ivas, and Avas. Let me tell you something about the runes, just as a kind of a side note. These two names, you can get those two names swapped around pretty easily. The difference is literally an I. Just the letter I, that's the only difference. And then between Avas and Manas, you can get those two runes swapped out pretty easily, because it's literally two more lines that separate this from the other. I do it all the time, and I have to do this, so I still get those mixed up. If these cards weren't labeled, sometimes I would get them mixed up. But let's start here. I'm definitely seeing some victory here, some mental victory. So celebrating those little victories, even today, is good for you mentally. Moving into Ivas, this one, remember, this one's all about being flexible, because that yew tree, that yew wood is very flexible, and it's also very strong. But if you're in a transition period physically, if you're starting something brand new, that is going to be where you want to be the most flexible. Don't let your time get set in stone on this one. Don't schedule your weekend out too much, because remember when I said you need to get away? This is a great weekend for it. Just get away, go somewhere where you can kind of be alone for a little bit, kind of get alone with your thoughts. Take a book with you, go out to the park with a book. Could help. So far, best synopsis I can give you for this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good weekend to kind of go out and play. It's a good weekend to not worry about things if you can. If you have to work this weekend, try to keep a little bit more of a positive attitude. Try to do what you can. And if you get breaks at work, get away. Go find a little quiet place for about 30 minutes. Settle in with yourself. Don't get too distracted this weekend. Don't let too many of them pop up. Just, pick something off the shelf and run with it. And I guarantee you're going to have a great weekend. But anyway. A little pedestrian for this weekend, isn't it? That's alright. We will make it, don't worry. It's going to be a perfectly fine weekend. If the weather doesn't permit, the weather doesn't permit. Go watch a really bad movie. Like, just pick one, watch it, make fun of it. Works for me. Anyway, gotta run. Love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. Oh, by the way, join me on High Notes. I'm going to be picking a card from you from this deck today. Alright? As always, shine on.